What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit. The map's moving fast because we just played a team game, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color. His name is Nullus, and he is playing as Ra. His opponent today in the red color playing as Hades. His name is MoMo. Mo. Double Mo. He's got two Mo's. One here, one here. And yes, Hades, red color. Good. The map, well, if it isn't meta to not, because it's not Mediterranean at all, it's mega random. The new map, all of the cool kids are talking about. They're all like, they get home from school and they're like, Mom, have you heard? There's this new map that has breathed new life into a 20-year-old game. And now we have everybody excited about playing new maps and having so much more wild stuff to look out for here. This map here is the variant of Mega Random, which spawns a lake in the middle, very similar to Mediterranean, except one big caveat. It's this big. It's this big. You can see that? This big only. Only this big. Which means you have to adapt fast. If we check out what the players are saying here, we've got MoMo only seeing 6 fish and Nullus only seeing 6 fish. Now, the difference between a map like this and say a map which you know has 9 fish, a map you know has 12 fish, the fact you don't know how many fish are here means your build orders need to be getting fine-tuned in the moment. You can't go, well, I know that I need to get exactly 300 wood straight away. 300 wood only is all I need, and I need to get to the classical age after that. You don't get that opportunity here on this map. You have to work it out straight away, so you can't pre-plan that build to make it perfect. Everything is going to be slightly off in these builds. And if we jump over here and see what MoMo is doing, he is making a fatal early game mistake. This is a 6 fish map. You only need to build 6 fishing ships, which means 4 villages, 5 villages on wood is actually all you need at the start of this game to really get going here. As you can see, he's already just about fished everything up. He's going to try and take some of the fishing spots away from Nullus, but Nullus is fairly quickly going to be getting his final fishing ships out as well. You can avoid this mistake by sending your first fishing ship around and scout what's happening. This is something that the players, I imagine, will start doing more and more as they get better at this map. But in the early stages here, you will see this MoMo fishing ship getting very, very sad once the 6th fishing ship of Nullus comes out and MoMo realizes no more fish left. Nullus says, I already know there's no fish left. For whatever reason here, he's worked it out. And MoMo's going to have to figure out where to go now, because he's going for the 20 fishing ship build. 20 fishing ship build, ladies and gentlemen. He's got 10 villages on wood. He's going to have a ton of wood to chuck onto the water where there's really not much to get grabbed there. Nullus, on the other hand, should be able to advance fairly soon. Doesn't need this many villages on wood anymore. Could take them off onto cows to try and advance a little bit faster. You can go for fast second town centers here. The water isn't that important. If you lose the water, your opponent will have spent a lot more resources winning the water, and you only really lose out on 6 of those fishing spots, which is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. You kind of go minus 12 in a way, but if you can make that up with a fast second town center, fast third town centers, definitely a way to go to have somewhat of an advantage on this map. So we'll see how these players are going to continue here, as MoMo has managed to advance through areas at, I would say, a fairly slow pace here for only 6 fishing ships, but he's got himself 500 wood in the bank ready to use, as the villagers going to make their way over onto this gold straight away. A bunch of docks going to get thrown down. The temple is nice and forward here, as MoMo has got plans to erase Nullus from the map immediately, as Nullus is taking his sweet time getting to the classical age, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that you would never see an expert advancing this late on a water map here, on a 6 fishing ship map here, if he knew there was 6 fishing ship. This is, I'm going to keep on saying, I'm excited for this map because it's really going to show the difference between a player who has an in-depth understanding of Age of Mythology versus a player who has learned all of the builds and hasn't really thought for a day in their life. So I'm excited to see how players are going to start adapting and working this map out. As MoMo's got himself 700 wood in the bank. He's got himself his Cyclops wandering forward, going to be trying to take down the dock as fast as he possibly can. Hasn't started too much just yet. A couple of fishing ships garrisoned, ready to take his opponent's fish at a whim here. And he's just kind of hanging out, working out what he wants to do. A little bit of a housing crisis here as the houses are going to be going down. Nullus over here, kind of actually ready to go straight to the heroic age in a big way here. He's actually going for a fast second town center behind this. He is Ra, so I mean, this is very similar to what Ra might do on Mediterranean, whereas you sack the water and that's about it. And Nullus is like, yeah, I get it. You're probably going to win this water, no problems. We see the Trireme going to come through and try and take out the Priest here. Priest, nice marker here from Nullus, going to be retreating away as the Wadjet here will be the victim of these Trireme arrows. Very fast after here is a couple more Trireme going to be rowing in. MoMo with 500 wood in the bank, ready to throw his own second town center down, to be fair, as Nullus gets his second town center up, ready to jump onto those cows, get himself Shadoof, and live the dream where that is considered here. As Ajax wanders forward, going to be taking a little bit of damage here. Almost going to lose this villager. Nice marker there from Nullus, making sure he doesn't take any villager losses idly here, as he can just garrison them away and be completely fine. He's got the tower here as well to help defend the the Cyclops here. Now finish off this this dock here. Give MoMo 3 of these fishing ship places here, as the Cyclops can then wander over here and finish off this other dock. And Nullus is going to be sad about that, but he should be fine. Armory is going to be up fairly soon. Farm's going to be getting thrown down around the town center. A couple more farms on this town center as well. Rain will come down, and when we get the second town center coming through for MoMo, so let's count it: 3 Trireme to take out the fishing ships. So 3 Trireme, 1 Trireme costs 150 wood. So he has effectively minus 50 resources on winning this water, which is probably pretty good here. Pretty good for MoMo to take the water, to take these fishing ship spaces here. He can go up to 12 fishing ships, no problem. Have a slight advantage in this game. Nullus obviously probably not going to care too much. He's got himself 15 farms here, 16 farms here. Armory about to pop as well for Nullus, as we will be seeing the villagers popping over here onto this granary, as well as MoMo is just hanging around and doing his thing. Lots of wood in the bank. Probably doesn't need villagers on wood anymore unless he wants to build some farms. Can stick it out in the classical age, go heroic age here. He's kind of got the time to figure out what he wants to do. Nullus here going up through Hathor. No surprises there. And the dock will finally be getting finished off here. And Nullus no longer on the water. There is no town centers in range of water here, so no big problems when it comes to like war barge shenanigans. The fishing ship going to be wandering around here. It's actually it's Egyptian fishing ships. If it was Norse fishing ships, Greek fishing ships, or Atlantean fishing ships, you can actually leave these fish alive and just have them sink up population here. But Egyptian fishing ships can be a bit annoying and throw down a stray dock if you don't pick them off. So house coming down here for Nullus. MoMo still just bumping out those units. Let's check out his economy here. He's got himself pickaxe, hand axe, hunting dogs. Nullus on the other hand here, got a lot of resources in the bank, ready to go next stage. He's got himself access to this shifting sands as well. Wandering over to this forward gold mine here, it seems to secure this, would secure this town center as well, which is really nice. Does have to be fairly concerned about this forest here. If MoMo can get secured on this location, he's got a very, very nice Petropolis siege that he could do. So too could a catapult, possibly if maybe a siege engineered catapult, start hitting this town center from afar. As we see the Cyclops here getting taken out, but not before the Cyclops manages to pick up a villager, but does decide to give up on that one a little bit too soon before the villager gets flung. He will be losing his sad life, but the Migdol is up, and now Nullus has got all of this map here to start raiding. We see MoMo slowly getting these walls up, but it's going to be too slow here as the third town center is going to drop here for MoMo, and he will be able to advance fairly soon. Doesn't have his armory, he's throwing up his military buildings, archery range stable, another stable over here. I still don't see an armory anywhere for MoMo. Bit of a mistake there. Should definitely be advancing here. Definitely through, well, probably not through Aphrodite, probably through Apollo here. The underworlds are very, very important, as we do see a cheeky Locust getting dropped here. A pretty underwhelming Locust, if you ask me. Just only 3 villagers here. MoMo's going to be pretty happy with that, I'd say, as he drops, as a Patsukas comes in here and says, get out of here, other villager. As MoMo's going to start losing some villagers in the process. The archery range not going to get up. I'll say it again. I said it once. I'll say it again. I don't think that, even Hades, I don't think you should really be thinking about getting archers unless your plan is to use the archers in the classical age, in the heroic age. If your plan is to go straight to the mythic age, you should be thinking, and this is definitely this situation where he's got the talents and he's got the economy. He's planning to go straight to the mythic age. He can do with not getting archers here. The reason being that you can just go straight into Heliopoli. If you go Hippocon, Hoplite, Heliopoli, then you skip out on all the tech required to get to champion archers, which is, and also you don't even need armor for those Heliopoli, so they immediately are much, much better than the archers in every single way. Every way. But we're going to keep seeing archers get built in this matchup for some time now because it's kind of fairly new thought, but I'm sure some other people have thought about it as well over the years. Anyways, we'll wait and see what's going to happen where that's concerned as Nullus dropped his market, ready to start thinking about the next age. Yeah, I'm seeing these walls coming up very fast and fiery here. If MoMo can get access to this corner and get access to this corner as well, it's going to be in a good headspace. But Nullus already grabbing his corner. He's got 2 villagers over here. Would love to see some walls get thrown up as well. Oftentimes we see markets getting thrown up first, but I actually think that the actual order of operations should be walls first and then the market, because the walls go up much, much faster than the market, and then you're safe and all the other good stuff, as we are now seeing the cavalry wandering in to MoMo's base, trying to hit these villages as best as they possibly can here. Almost got 3 town centers pumping villages. He's a little bit short on the food here. I don't see a market just yet, but we are now starting to see some of those prodromus coming out for MoMo, which are really going to be able to deal with those cavalry nicely. For those uninitiated, the combat triangle is cavalry beats archers beats beats infantry beats cavalry. But the cavalry here is a little bit of a weird unit. It has a bonus damage of 75% against cavalry for whatever reason, which means cavalry actually kind of counter or soft counter cavalry in a way. But then you have the prodromus, which is a cavalry unit, which is a counter cavalry unit and can kill off the cavalry incredibly fast with its plus 200% bonus damage against said cavalry, if that makes any sense. Explaining things that most people know, but you know, some people forget that this little cavalry detail, and this is why you can get away with going basically cavalry chariot archers as really easily against mass cavalry, because especially prodromus hippocon, you can go that. So we'll see how it's going to go. Is Nullus going next age anytime soon? Not just yet. Still waiting to see how he's going to go. He's getting more farms up. Cavalry just getting their raids in as MoMo's trying to defend. He's going to be kicking himself for not getting these walls set up earlier. And there's the shifting sands. We'll see if he's going to get any real kills here, as Nullus is absolutely furious that he's lost the water, and he's like, got to get that economic advantage back by picking off some villages. Whenever I've been using Shifting Sands recently, it's been to be bringing villagers with me, especially if I do these delayed Shifting Sands plays, like 13 minutes into the game, 15 minutes into the game, 20 minutes into the game. Always want to bring villagers with me, even if it's to try and take down a building as well. The idea being is if I can take the location, I can build in there. If MoMo like retreats here, there's not really much hit here that Nullus gets, but if you can chuck down a Migdol or something, you can have a fun time. Meanwhile, we're seeing MoMo retaliating on this position here, trying to push through as Nullus has to pull back. Horus on the way for Nullus, a very, very spicy pick for Nullus. If MoMo is aware, he could be getting himself Masons, fortified town centers, and be completely fine against any sort of tornado on his town centers. But he's a little bit unaware, and Nullus has got a bit of a timing to get that down, as you do see the fortified town centers coming through now for Nullus, as he's dealing with these units nicely. We take a quick look at Momo's fishing ships. He does have himself Salt and Fora here, as the cavalry getting taken down. The Migdol stronghold still under fire. The cavalry over here still looking for something to target down. And we'll see what he's going to take out. I do love the tornado on the hometown center into a raid onto the farms straight after. Can be really, really strong. Get a lot of damage done. As we see Nullus slowly making his way in to this position with his chariot archers and his cavalry and everything else. As the Patromus coming through as well. We'll see the Hades Shade getting taken out. And there's the Horus, the cavalry trying to come onto these villages here. So, Tornado, unlike Locust, has got a max villager damage. And we just saw that there. All these villagers live, but they're all on half HP. This is why you don't use Tornado on villagers, unless you've got a Locust to use after it. So there's lesson learned there for Nullus. He's down to Mythic Age God Power, but he does have the Spearman here. He's got a good healthy amount of favor, so he might be able to get himself Spear of the Horizon or Greatest of the 50 and deal with these cavalry pretty easily. And this means that Momo has to actually read this and go into infantry here straight away. So infantry beat the Spearman out pretty nicely. You can kind of go cavalry, hoplite here and be pretty happy. We are seeing some docks getting thrown up by Nullus as he's going to try and put some pressure onto Momo. A couple of barracks coming up onto this position as Momo is realizing he's got an ability to attack this location over here. We will remember that that Momo did go through Apollo here and has his underworld, so he can shift the battlefield at any point. Come over here, attack this, come over here, attack this, and underworld onto this location with a fortress behind it. Could be absolutely brutal. Lots of different options here for Momo to get behind the enemy lines of Nullus. It's definitely something that Greek players need to be aware of, is that you really don't want to fight Egyptian on their preferred front. The Egyptian is forcing you to fight somewhere, you want to try and fight somewhere else, because that's where they're going to be the most weak most of the time. The stable pushes forward here, going to take down this stable and start finding another place to attack. We see some fishing ships getting cleaned up here. As Momo slightly struggling for resources here. Fortified town center coming in, more buildings getting thrown up here. This is kind of classic Hades shenanigans, classic Greek shenanigans. Got to throw up all those buildings to defend. And while this is happening, I love this. It's got a double wall coming up. This is a little bit out of range. As we see this tree getting chopped down by Momo. A wall across here might be enough. I think this might be in range of Petropolis as well. So I don't know why he's chopping this down for Nullus here. Definitely start Petropolis sieging this, and that's exactly what he's doing here. We see the fortress, 2 Petropolis inside of it, so Momo is preparing to make way through there. Not only that, we see Artemis on the way now for Momo. I definitely think that this position here, Artemis is a bit of a gamble. Hephaestus is very safe. Give you the, especially against Horus, gives you the Colossus, but more importantly, those cheaper armor upgrades, which Momo does not have many of at all. So he's going to be kicking himself for not getting that in the future here. We see the third Petropolis here. I'm still confused as to why. What we're waiting on here is the Petropolis could just come out and start attacking. We see the walls are up. We see the Petropolis taking this down. It's kind of been alerted. Nullus has been alerted to now as the Petropolis pop back. Going to be taking down these barracks very, very fast. Nullus has not got himself masons, architects, or anything, but he is rolling in on this town center. There could be somewhat of a base trade here, actually. As the villagers push forward, going to try and take down these gates. There's nothing to help defend this. Is a really smart play here from Nullus to grab the villagers and tear down the walls. I actually think a nice play, a nice change for the villagers would be to give them a buff against walls, because walls are too strong and there needs to be something you can do to kill off walls. Just saying, little things here. Just speaking out, just speaking my mind, you know, but villagers bash through those walls and then they'll be able to take down the Petropolis very fast afterwards. There's those chariot archers retreating back here, trying to figure out how they can continue pushing through here, but the earthquake is on its way. The towers are up. The fortress here going to be able to take down some of these villages. We see an underworld onto this position from MoMo, trying to shift the battlefield to keep his Petropolis alive. He does have that earthquake he can use. Remember, fortified town centers, masons is enough for Tornado to not kill off a town center, but it's not enough to stop an earthquake killing off a town center, especially if there's only a handful of buildings here. So will we see that earthquake getting dropped? Not just yet. So the villagers here are going to be getting taken out as the units on this position. We see the Migdol stronghold down. We've got the catapult down. One wall here could be devastating for MoMo here, but the earthquake does get dropped. The town center, of course, goes down. You need 5 barracks plus masons plus fortified town centers for the town center to live against an earthquake, I think. Something like that. How is the economy going here for Nullus? Still has a decent economy, but has dropped down to 147 of 140 population. The catapult going to be rolling over here to try and take down this underworld passage. The medium prodromas have, I thought they spotted that catapult there, but not happening just yet, as Nullus will be able to clean the underworld up here. As the Petropolis is still going to keep pushing through here. We've got another fortress coming down for MoMo over here as the catapult returning back onto this town center here as towers starting to come up again. This location here was perfect. One wall, all good, but the champion spearmen are out and Spear on the Horizon has come through, which means these spearmen have got 122 HP with 46% pierce, 46% hack armor. They start at 40% hack armor, but with the copper mail, 46%. The pacifists are getting made to deal with them, so that's going to be a nice help here for MoMo to deal with those spearmen. But see how much, how easily MoMo can defend this location. You can see he's at 120 out of 160 population. Would really love to see some of that favor getting spent on Chimera here, but he doesn't have any. Sorry, some of that gold spent on Chimera, but he doesn't have the favor, and he doesn't even have a temple here. I don't think. No, he does not. Meanwhile, villagers going to be making their way forward, trying to grab this town center for themselves, as Nullus going to be throwing up his own Migdol stronghold over here, as this fortress has been denied for the time being. Random archery ranges up here, potentially for Gastrophetes later in the game, as the units running straight into their deaths here, straight into the big trap that Nullus is kind of set up here. These towers are so strong. 8.8 DPS might not seem like a lot, but the towers shoot 2 arrows, so it's actually closer to 17 DPS per tower, which when you look at the amount of damage that units would do, 7.8 DPS, 12 DPS. So 4 towers is like 8 units attacking him in a way, plus the Migdol stronghold, which is doing possibly a little bit more like 26. Shoots 3 arrows, but the 3rd arrow normally misses. So lots of damage can come through there as well. More catapult going to be rolling in here to try and take down this town center yet again. MoMo's still not able to get this town center for himself, but has thrown down his own fortress. Really, really short on resources now. He's trying to build villages from his town centers, but he does not have the food to get everything out here. Nullus, on the other hand, is also trying to build villages, does not have the food, sitting at 12 food here as the catapults tearing this fortified town center down. There is no masons, so these catapults will be able to out damage the repair speed of the villagers that are here. So we'll see if these Prodromus or anything can get in onto these catapults. Again, there was this location that they could have been sitting in, which was very safe, but all of the towers are up. No crenellations here, so those cavalry are going to live much, much longer than they otherwise should be. But the town center is still going down here as the final catapult able to somehow finish this one off, leveling the playing field, 2 town centers apiece. But Nullus is getting back his 3rd town center yet again, or not yet again for the first time, but getting his town center back. So he's now up 3 town centers to 2, flipping the game on its side here, as Nullus has got such an advantage here because he's set up the towers already. MoMo has got this fortress here, but he is going to decide in this state of the game without the economy here to tap out. Nullus gets the dub on this Mega Random map. If you guys are pumped for the Mega Random tournament that is just about to start, definitely leave a comment about it. I'm going to be trying to do as many of the games as I possibly can. It's going to be a lot to do. And yeah, what a game here. Really, really interesting map here. The 6 fishing spawn map. This is what makes Mega Random so cool. This is what makes the water map so cool, is the fact that the players don't simply know, well, this is the best thing to do, so we just do this at the start. They've got to work it out on the fly and adapt. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.